Good morning. This morning I'm going to be showing you how to change the injection loom on this 1.4 Skoda Fabia TDI. 2004 plate car, 3-cylinder engine. The first thing to do is to remove the rocker cover, and these are 10mm bolts. Just quickly remove those. You will also need to remove the clip which retains the top of the timing belt cover. Just lift that away. Now that I've undone the 10mm bolts retaining the cover, we should be able to remove it. But some may be more stubborn than others. There are 3 hidden along the back here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, make a total of 11 bolts. They're all captive in the cover, so there's no immediate worry with them dropping out. Does mean one can't be sure that you've undone them sufficiently to lift the cover away, like thus. So, nearly got it. Also a good time for you to have a look at the timing belt, check the condition of the timing belt. Still a stubborn one here somewhere. In some ways it would be easier if these were completely removable. So then of course don't run the risk of losing them onto the workshop floor, or worse, dropping them down inside the timing cover. Somewhere here we have a stubborn one. Here we are. Lift the cover off to one side. If you're careful, you shouldn't damage the gasket. And then we are into the injection loom, clearly visible once the cover is removed. So here we have injectors 1, 2 and 3, and the connector here that leads to the multi-way loom and to the ECU, of course. Having not removed these sort of connections before, it's a learning experience for me as well as for yourselves. So let's see how we go.
Chords of the overcoat on its side of the street, fine lengths, sitting just below the halfway point in the Glasgow Hall of Fame, performed by the Leipzig Gewandhaus Orchestra, conducted by Ricardo Chailly. Now let's go to the wide open plains of America.
Now they're very easily removed. They just pull out their connectors, which will explain one reason why they are so prone to failing. Okay, simply twist the screw cup here to remove the plug. Then you'll be left with the end of the loom exposed at the side of the head here. There are two 10mm retaining bolts, a bolt here and a nut on a thread. Can't quite see how the bracket can be removed to get to that, but I shall tell you shortly. You might want to consider using some sort of flexi drive here, because this bottom 10mm bolt is very awkward to get to with all the fuel pipes in the way. You might find you can get it undone enough to get your fingers in there, depending on how big your fingers are. And there we are. Okay. Now, the awkward bit I can see is this retaining bracket that sits over the top fitting. I'm not quite sure how that comes off. Okay, now I'm going to remove the loom itself. It's quite awkward. You may want to try and put the connectors back into their little retaining slots on the loom itself. This is as the new one is presented, and probably for good reason, as there's not a lot of room to work with in here. In fact, it's even more awkward to refit these connectors back into oily plastic than anything, to be fair. Well, that seems to be the only way. Don't want to cut the loom because it's possible there may be nothing wrong with it. That could happen. We shall see. But like I say, oily and awkward. It ain't cooperating because time has made all the cables quite rigid. No, here it comes now. It's coming out now. I do hope we haven't got to remove the air filter as well. Like I say, this is as much a learning experience for myself as it is for you. A couple of awkward clips to negotiate. Nearly there. In hindsight, it would be easier with the air filter removed. I'm going to quickly do that now. And there it is. Hardly surprising that they deteriorate given the environment they have to work in. But there you go. Grubby hands and all. Nice case of putting it back together. And checking it. Clearing the codes. Now before inserting the new loom, I've put switch cleaner onto the contacts on the injectors, and now we shall fit the new loom, being a lot more careful than obviously when we removed the old loom. Before you put the new loom in, make sure all the connectors are safely in their little housings. These are the brackets that will locate the loom itself solidly in the head. Otherwise vibration would soon damage it, and I guess that's what happens in these those looms. Right, let's feed this back in and see what happens. Okay, nice and gentle. Bit at a time, bit at a time. It's tricky once the retaining clips are located. And there it is, more or less. I should put back the bottom 10mm bolt first. Very awkward, and you don't really want to drop it, but it does locate fairly nicely. I think we've got the thread. Well, I hope we've got the thread. I think we've got the thread. Right, the loom is now back in the vehicle. Now it's just a case of connecting up the connectors. Right, the loom is now reconnected and locked on. Now, let's put the cover back on. There it goes. You have to locate the fuel pipes under the head of the bolt here, and then do them up progressively around the cover. One. Okay, number two. Reasonably tight, especially if you're reusing the old rubber gasket. Always forget where they are. They're somewhere down here. There's one here. That's it. One here immediately above the E-channel valve. At this point, you may want to locate and pop on the cover for the timing belt. Okay, now the rock cover's on. Go around a couple of times just to make sure they're all nipped up tight. Make sure that the tie belt cover is located. Before strapping the clip back across. And I'm putting oil here. There's now time to put the cover back on. This one's developed a break in it, unfortunately. Not quite sure how you would sort that. And now it's time to start the engine. See how she sounds. And clear some codes if necessary. Well, we seem to be running on 3. Still have the noise from the alternator to sort out. That's the alternator clutch is warm. Now we just have to